Altering the workspace. Studio's elevation drawing scale has been set at 1 inch equals 20 inches in real-world dimensions to enable designers to fit a detailed rendering on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. This is the size of our workspace, or the white area shown here. Sometimes all we need to do to draw a wider wall is change our page setup to legal. Click on the raspberry icon, click Page Setup, and use the drop-down menu to select Legal. This gives us an extra 3 inches of drawing space, room to fit an 18-foot wide wall. The portrait orientation under Page Setup is useful for a foyer or a room 12 foot wide or narrower with a ceiling height of 16 feet for letter size and 20 feet for legal size. We'll change it back to the default setting, letter size landscape. Another way to alter the workspace is to change the wall size. Click on the View tab, change wall size. For example, a 20-foot wide room can be accommodated by changing the width to 240. The graph paper and ruler bars are automatically adjusted, as is the drawing scale. We'll change that back to the default setting. For larger, taller rooms, edit the drawing scale by using a dimension line and the Set Scale tool, as we will demonstrate for our 20-foot ceiling room shown here. This is 240 inches or 20 feet high at the peak, and 192 inches high at the sides. As you can see, the drawing scale is very small. 1 inch equals almost 38 inches. We'll show you how to achieve this. We'll open a new file, click on the Format tab, and select a rectangle. We're going to draw a basic rectangle. Right-click, change dimensions. We'll uncheck the Keep Aspect Ratio and type in our new width and height. This is going to go off the page. Let's click on View, Zoom to 20%. And what we're going to do is shrink this down to fit on our page. By holding down the Shift key and using the corner edit point, we'll slowly decrease this in size in proportion. Now we can use our Set Scale tool and dimension line to change the drawing scale so that we know that our 20-foot ceiling height wall will fit here. Let's use the dimension tool to measure the height. And while that's still highlighted, we'll use the Set Scale tool, positioning that in the center of the green edit point on the top of the dimension line, clicking, holding, and dragging down to the bottom and releasing, and then typing in 240 inches. Now we can delete this, and in order to get our side wall height, we'll draw another dimension line, and we want this one to be 192. Right click, change dimensions, type in 192, and let's align that with the bottom of our wall. Holding down the Shift key, I'm selecting the wall also, and then Align Bottom. And let's drag this over so we have a line across the entire rectangle. Using the polygon tool, we're going to draw a shape with that peaked ceiling. We'll select our rectangle to get our center point for the peak. Clicking on the polygon tool, we'll start here, click, go up to the top of that 20-foot ceiling, click, down the side, click to the floor, click, and back over to the left side. Double click to finish the shape. Here's our shape. We could then delete this. If we want to keep the dimension line for measurement purposes, we can, or just delete it. Now we need to resize our windows to fit our new drawing scale. Go over to the windows and doors, and we'll select some plain windows that will match up with our client's room. We'll select this one, and as you can see, we really do need to resize this. This window is 48 inches wide by 72 inches long. Right click, change dimensions, type in 72, uncheck this, and type in 48. And we'll just leave that positioned here for now. The window below that, this is a sort of a stacked window, is a rectangular shape, and we're going to select this one. Again, resizing it. Change dimensions, uncheck the keep aspect ratio. We'll be typing in 72. Oh, this one's 100, and this one is 48 inches wide. And that's going directly under here. Both of these windows will be centered on the wall. So we can select both of them by holding down the Shift key and then click on the wall, Align Center. The window happens to be 12 3/4 inches from the floor, so we'll do that next. And also the windows are 10 inches apart. So we'll duplicate that and make that 10 inches. Now we can zoom out and reposition everything. So either use your nudge button or the arrow key on your keyboard and get that one positioned. Scroll up and position the upper window 10 inches above the lower window. Now we're ready to do the other windows. You can delete these dimension lines. The bottom ones happen to be the same, so we can delete those, and those are also 10 inches apart down on the bottom, so we'll get a new dimension line and fix that. Nudge that one over and make sure that it's aligned with the other one. Align top. We'll move this one over to the right hand side now and check that. And finally we'll add the two upper windows, which are square. 48-inch square. Get this aligned with the left-hand window and then aligned with the center window across the bottom. Sliding over, we'll duplicate this window and do the same steps. Align to the right and a line to the bottom. We'll add some baseboard molding from the room elements. Here's our baseboard, and this needs to be resized also. It is not 8.5 inches high, it's only 4.5 inches high. So we'll type that in, and then a quick way to make this fit on our wall is to hold down the Shift key. Under same size, click same width, align left, align bottom. And finally we'll bring in our furniture. Any image that you select from here will have to be resized. Here's our sofa that we're proposing, and it's way too big, so we'll also change the dimensions on that to make it 83 inches wide, and you can see how tiny that is in relation to the rest of the room. You would do the same thing with any of your window treatments, and that's how you can change the drawing scale in Studio to suit whatever it is you're drawing, whether it's an elevation rendering or a space plan. You can change the drawing scale from 1 = 48 to whatever suits the size of the footprint of your floor plan.